A sad jobless single dad gave all his money to a poor homeless beggar. Unaware she is a billionaire. The rain fell without mercy that evening, washing the city streets in silence and sorrow, as a tired man stood at a bus stop counting the last few crumpled notes in his trembling hands. He did not know that this small moment, this single decision made in hunger and hopelessness, would soon echo louder than wealth, power, or fate itself. Sometimes, the quietest acts of kindness shake the world the most. Before we go deeper into this emotional journey, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that goodness always finds its way back, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that are silently breaking. The man's name was Daniel, though few people remembered it anymore. He was 37 years old, a single father, and unemployed for nearly 6 months. Life had once been kind to him in modest ways. He had never been rich, but he had been stable. A small apartment, a steady job at a warehouse, and evenings spent helping his young daughter with homework had once defined his world. Then came the accident at work, the injury that left him unable to lift heavy loads, followed by quiet dismissal disguised as corporate regret. Savings vanished faster than hope, rent notices piled up like accusations, and friends slowly stopped answering calls, not out of cruelty but discomfort. Poverty has a way of making people invisible. Every morning, Daniel woke before dawn to search for work. He ironed the same worn shirt again and again, smoothing wrinkles that felt symbolic of his life. Interviews came rarely, rejections came often, and each polite email saying they had chosen another candidate felt heavier than the last. He hid his fear from his daughter, smiling through meals that were smaller each day, pretending that skipping dinner was a choice, not a necessity. At night, when she slept, he sat by the window, staring at the city lights, wondering how a good man doing his best could still lose everything. That evening, after another long day of walking from one office to another, Daniel stood at the bus stop with only enough money left to buy bread and milk for the next morning. His feet ached, his stomach burned with hunger, and his mind replayed worries on an endless loop. That was when he noticed her. She sat near the curb, wrapped in a thin, dirty shawl, her hair tangled, her face marked by exhaustion and age. People passed her without a glance, stepping around her as if she were part of the pavement. Her hands shook slightly, not dramatically, but enough to show she had been cold for a long time. There was no sign, no loud plea, no attempt to beg loudly for attention. She simply sat there, eyes lowered, waiting for a kindness she had learned not to expect. Daniel tried to look away. He truly did. He told himself he had nothing to spare, that his child needed him more than anyone else, that he had already given everything life demanded. But something about her stillness, her quiet dignity, stopped him. He remembered his own reflection in the mirror lately, hollow-eyed, defeated, praying someone would notice his struggle. Hunger recognizes hunger. Pain recognizes pain. He walked a few steps, then stopped. Slowly, almost ashamed, he turned back. He looked at the money in his hand, calculating, bargaining with himself. Half would still leave him short. A single knot would feel meaningless. In that moment, something deeper than logic moved him. He crouched down, placed all the money gently in her hand, and gave a small nod, as if apologizing for not having more. He did not wait for gratitude. He did not explain his sacrifice. He simply walked away, stomach empty but heart strangely lighter. What Daniel did not see was the way the woman's eyes followed him, not with surprise, but with something closer to recognition. She looked at the money, then at his retreating figure, her expression unreadable beneath the grime and weariness. For a long time, she stayed there, letting the rain soak her clothes, as if grounding herself in the moment. Then, slowly, she stood up, straightened her posture, and walked away into the night. The next morning, reality hit hard. Daniel's daughter asked about breakfast, and he distracted her with promises of something special later. He sent her to school with a reassuring smile and closed the door behind her, leaning against it as the weight of his choice settled in. Hunger clawed at him, but regret did not. Somehow, despite everything, he felt he had done the right thing. Still, right choices do not pay bills, and by noon, An eviction notice slid under his door like a final warning. Days passed in quiet struggle. Daniel continued searching for work, his hope thinning but not gone. Then, one afternoon, a black luxury car stopped in front of his apartment building, a sight so out of place it felt almost unreal. Neighbors peeked through curtains, curiosity buzzing. A sharply dressed man stepped out, followed by another, both scanning the building as if searching for something precious hidden in plain sight. When they knocked on Daniel's door, he assumed it was a mistake. Men like that did not visit men like him. But when he opened the door, their expressions shifted into something respectful, almost reverent. They asked his name, confirmed his identity, and invited him to come with them, assuring him his daughter would be cared for at school until he returned. Fear and confusion tangled in his chest, but something told him to trust the moment, just as he had trusted his heart days before. The car ride was silent and smooth, carrying him far from his struggling neighborhood into a part of the city he had only seen in movies. Tall glass buildings, manicured lawns, guarded gates. They stopped at a private medical center, elegant and discreet. Inside, the air smelled clean and calm, a stark contrast to the chaos of his life. That was when he saw her again. She looked nothing like the woman from the street. Her hair was neatly styled, her face clean, her posture commanding. She wore simple but expensive clothing, and yet, her eyes were the same depth, the same quiet strength. For a moment, Daniel thought exhaustion was playing tricks on him. Then recognition hit him like a wave. The woman revealed that she was the founder of a multinational investment empire, a billionaire known across continents, though rarely seen in public. She explained that she often disguised herself as homeless to understand the world beyond wealth, to test humanity without the filters of status and privilege. Most people ignored her. Some mocked her. A few offered coins. Only one man, with nothing left to give, had given everything. She had followed him that night, learned his story, verified his struggles, not because she doubted his sincerity, but because she believed kindness deserved understanding. She spoke of how wealth had isolated her, how power had shown her the worst of people, and how his silent sacrifice had reminded her why she once believed in humanity. What happened next did not feel like charity, it felt like restoration. She cleared his debts, secured safe housing for his family, arranged medical treatment for his old injury, and offered him a position in her company not as a token gesture, but one built around his abilities and growth. More importantly, she invested in his confidence, reminding him that he had always been rich in the one currency that mattered most. Daniel returned home that evening changed, not just by fortune, but by validation. His daughter laughed in a home filled with warmth again. Food returned to the table, not as excess, but as comfort. Work returned to his life, not as punishment, but as purpose. And through it all, he never forgot the bus stop, the rain, the hunger, and the choice that started everything. Before this story comes to an end, take a moment and comment below with the word kindness if you believe small acts can change lives. Your comment might inspire someone scrolling in silence. Years later, Daniel often spoke at charity events, not about wealth, but about moments. He told people that kindness is not measured by what you give, but by what it costs you to give it. He reminded them that the world is full of hidden stories, hidden pain, and sometimes, hidden miracles disguised as strangers. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you to stay kind even when life feels unfair, please like this video, share it, and subscribe. Your engagement helps spread hope, and hope is something the world will always need more of.